Hello there, Carl at Radial Detailing, hope you're well. As promised, here's the video on cleaning calipers, removing the brake pads so we can give all the fittings and clips a good clean up. Fairly simple video. We'll be dealing with three types of calipers: fixed and radial brake calipers. I'll concentrate mainly on the front wheels. The rear wheel's pretty much the same depending on what caliper it is. So the reason we have to get more involved on bikes than we do cleaning cars is because there's so much more on show. One of the things everyone looks at is the wheels, so therefore you're looking at the wheels, you're looking at the discs, you're looking at the calipers. So we need to get in there and give them a good clean. If you're just cleaning the outside of the caliper, to be honest, you end up forcing a lot of the dirt inside the caliper, which later on will cause you problems, cause the customer problems. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, and here we go. So this is what we call a radial caliper. It's bolted parallel to the bottom of the forks, giving the best braking performance available. The other bonus to us as cleaning bikes is it doesn't take a lot to remove the pads and the pin, so I'll show you that now. So we can clean the spring and the retaining pin. We're going to remove the R-clip, the pin and then the spring. So all you're going to need is a pair of long nose pliers to remove the R-clip. Just a matter of getting in there, that pulls straight out. And then a 7mm Allen wrench, Allen key, or a socket in this case. I'm just going to wind that all the way out. This is a threaded pin. This should be a semi-lubricated pin as well, so look, the pads can actually slide up and down the pin easy. You just need to apply a bit of pressure to the pads. The spring's out. Retaining spring, and there we go. As you can see, the bike was clean, but the actual retaining spring, you can see my fingers, and the sliding pin, bit of corrosion there. So we're going to clean them up. Also, we're going to take the pads out. We're going to clean all this area up around here. You see there's dirt in there which is hidden by the retaining spring. So we'll clean that with some brake cleaner and a small brush. So to remove the pads, we just give them a little bit of a wiggle, pull them back, and just slide out. As you can see, caked in crud on a clean bike, so my way of thinking, if you're doing a detail, you want to be pulling the pads out, give them a good clean, making them look nice and factory. There we go, same again, no special tricks. When we put it all back together, we'll be using some anti-squeal paste on the pin, a little tiny bit on the edge of the pads. After we've cleaned all this out with brake cleaner, cleaned the front of the pistons all up with brake cleaner where we can get to, and then, like I say, re-lubricate all the threads as well. So we'll do that now. I'm going to get a bit of brake cleaner. Right, like so. It's just a matter of getting your little toothbrush in there like so. That'll give us a nice clean piston. You don't want to be using a wire brush, it wants to be a plastic brush, soft brush. Like I say, toothbrush is ideal for this. These are sliding faces, so these want to be clean of dirt and muck. There we go. So I'm just going to get a microfiber cloth now. Apply a bit of brake cleaner using the microfiber cloth. I'm just going to finish in there with a bit of this. So you're getting all the dirt away from the front of the piston seal. Get a bit of clean cloth. Just go around and finish it all off. Just going to clean these little grooves out here. There we go. And same again, bit of brake cleaner. Then we're going to go with a brush. So we've got the same with the retaining spring. Pretty grotty. A little bit of rust appearing on the end. So same again, use your brake cleaner, your little brush, just go at it till it's clean. So I'm going to put that together. Obviously same process but in reverse. With these pads you'll find they will try and fall through to the front, but you can move them from the back like so. So we'll lay the retaining spring in. Then we're going to get a piece of this. This is Ceratec. This is ABS friendly. A lot of you are probably still using the old-fashioned copper slip, which is fine, but that's not ABS safe. I'm going to put a little bit on the end. Wipe the excess off with a cloth. And then we're just going to slide it in like so. There we go. And do it back up again. Again, using a 1/4 inch ratchet. This way you won't over tighten it. You can use the torque specs. To be honest, I've done thousands of these, so I'm really not worried about torquing it. It's my own bike. Put the R-clip in. Done. Then what we'll do, we'll treat the outside now with some bike protectant, just to bring the caliper up. You can see they're just starting to white off a little bit. That'll be the next stage. Finishing up, I'm going to squirt some bike protectant on one of your older microfibers, and we're just going to work it into the caliper. There's hardly any product on the cloth. You've got no chance of any going on the brakes, because you're going to buff it all off, make it all look nice and factory. And you're basically going with the caliper. Obviously you never use anything like this on the brake pads. I've heard people using WD-40 for cleaner and stuff, and the trouble is that penetrates the surface of the pad. That's the worst thing you use. Brake cleaner is totally safe. You can use it on anything like that. It's good for cleaning your chain if you've got nothing else either. And there we go. I'm just going to buff that in. So get all your residue off so there's none on there. It's just a matter of a nice clean factory looking caliper to go with the rest of the clean bike now. So here we have a solid mounted caliper. You can see it bolted slightly differently. There's no sliders, but the mounting system for the pads is the same. One pin through the middle. On this one there's no R-clip. There's an anti-vibration O-ring. This is supposed to stop the pin from undoing itself over speed, vibration, etc. On the other bike it had an R-clip, does the same thing. With these particular calipers, don't remove any of these bolts here if you have anything similar. This is a Nissan caliper on a Kawasaki. Obviously if you remove these, the caliper will then split, causing the fluid to leak out. You'll have to be bleeding up, messing about. You don't need to touch those. So it's just a matter of removing the pin as per the other one, take the pads out, give the caliper and the pistons a good clean on the outside, put it all back together. There you go, apply a bit of bike protectant if you need to. So here we have a sliding type caliper. With these, it's a matter of undoing this bottom pin. These are usually found on smaller bikes, usually below sort of 600cc. The pin just comes out. It's got the same anti-vibration O-ring on the end as the other calipers. and then let's get the pads out. You just need to give the caliper a quick squeeze and they slide out the bottom like so. On these particular calipers, they're on sliders, that's why they're called sliding calipers. So we just give them a little move. You can hear this one's a little bit dry, so that wants a bit of lubrication on the slider. So we'll do that. So we need, there's 2 bolts just here. We need to take the carrier off. Probably not something you do on a detail, but I thought as soon as it needs doing, we'll do it. Right. There's a bit of a jiggery to get around the disc. So you've got one slider there on the caliper, and then you've got another slider on the carrier itself, and they have a recess which needs obviously grease putting in it. So that's brake grease we put in there, so I'll do that now. So we've got the sliders re-lubricated. It's just a matter of getting the caliper back into behind the disc and the carrier. Just bolt that up loosely to start with. There we go. Have a little bit of Loctite on them. I've already applied that, so not all caliper bolts have Loctite on them, so you just do need to check. I'm going to put the pads back in. On this one they slide up from underneath, which is a bit of a faff to find the locating lug. There we go. So we managed to get them into place, and then it's just a matter of sliding the pin back in. Make sure you lubricate the pin and the thread. It's just a matter of tightening them up. Go and check your torque specs if you think you need to. There you go. Job done. So that's that. Fairly simple. What I will say is make sure you've got plenty of brake cleaner, all the cloths to clean it all down with, the tools obviously, and plenty of time. You don't want to rush this, just take your time. So the reason I always pull the brakes to bits on a full detail is because over the period of a year, which is probably how often people service their bikes, you get all that crud build up in the caliper. It's almost impossible to get in there and clean it all out without stripping it. So for the sake of pulling a couple of pins out or undoing a few bolts, clean it all out, it just looks so much nicer. It's well worth doing. I personally do it myself in between servicing in any case, it just looks nicer and your brakes tend to work better. Make sure you lubricate all your pins when you put them back together using a non-metallic brake grease. If all you've got is copper slip, use that. I don't like using it myself because it can interfere and cause fault codes and stuff with the ABS. So it's just not worth it with customers' bikes. It's not something I want to do. So I hope you enjoyed this video, took something from it. I've got another video coming next Saturday, so please subscribe. Catch you all later.